Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tear down an idea you probably take for granted, the concept of a pure self. We're going to explore how biology itself proves that purity is a myth, and how our greatest strengths actually come from, well, from what you might call contamination. So let me ask you a question that sounds super simple, but the answer, well, it's anything but. The biological answer reveals that the you think you are is way stranger and way more connected than you can possibly imagine.
All right, first stop on this journey. Let's take a look inside your own body. Because here's the surprising truth. The entity you call you is actually more of a we.
55%. What on earth could that number be? Well, if you were to simply count up every single cell that makes up your body, that's the percentage that isn't actually human.
No, I'm not kidding. That's right. The majority of cells that make you aren't human. You're what scientists call a holobiont, which is basically a fancy term for a walking, talking ecosystem. You're a temporary and totally unique collaboration between your human cells and trillions of bacteria, fungi, and viruses. You're not a singular being, you are a crowd. Okay, and here's where it gets really, really cool. This deep level of combination, this so-called contamination, it's not a bug, it's a feature. In fact, if we rewind the clock way back into our deep evolutionary past, we find out this is actually our greatest superpower.
You know, so many societies teach us this simple, almost intuitive idea. Purity equals strength, and isolation is how you stay safe. Makes sense, right? Well, biology tells it completely different, and frankly, a much wilder story. It shows us that infection is the driver of evolution, and combination, that's the real engine of progress.
Get this, it is absolutely staggering. About 8% of your DNA, your human genetic code, is actually viral in origin. It's like a fossil record of ancient infections. Viruses haven't just attacked us, they've been writing themselves into our very story for millions of years.
And this isn't just some junk code left over. I mean, think about one of the single biggest leaps in all of mammalian evolution, the placenta. Guess what? It wasn't our idea. It was a gift from a virus. An ancient infection inserted the code for a protein called syncytine into our ancestors' DNA, and just like that, it made complex pregnancy and live birth even possible.
So think about what that means. The very foundation of mammalian life as we know it, of nurturing, of family bonds, it's all a testament to the power of being a hybrid. It is a direct result of embracing the foreign, not of isolating ourselves from it.
So this raises a massive question, doesn't it? If we are biologically designed to be combinations, to be hybrid, why on earth are human societies so obsessed with purity, whether it's racial purity, national purity, or ideological purity? What is going on there?
To really get our heads around this, we need a powerful metaphor, and it all starts with this strange word, swarf. Now, swarf isn't natural. It's the waste material, the little shavings and filings left over when a machine grinds something down. Keep that image in your head.
The metaphor starts right here. Imagine that each of us is born as this raw, fluid ore. We're full of infinite connections, endless potential, our true, messy, hybrid nature. But then, the machinery of society and conformity gets to work. It starts to grind us down, shaving off our unique complexities, trying to make us all uniform, just like those industrial byproducts.
And this is the magnet, that powerful, simplifying force of nationalism, or a rigid ideology, or a racial identity. It's a magnet that demands that all those little shavings point in the exact same direction. It promises belonging, it promises safety, but only in exchange for conformity.
And this is the tragic question the individual starts to ask. The magnet's logic is so powerful that if you feel your own path, if your unique nature pulls you in a different direction, you're led to believe that you are the one who's broken, not the system.
This social machine of purity doesn't just damage individuals. It actually functions like a disease inside the group itself. It is a kind of collective illness that's disguised as strength.
Think about it like an immune system. A healthy biological one learns and gets stronger from being exposed to different microbes. But a social ideology that's based on purity, it becomes a cultural autoimmune disease. It starts attacking the very diversity, the new ideas, the different people that it desperately needs to survive and evolve.
So this pride in being unmixed or unchanged, it's kind of like being proud of having a weak immune system.
It's a pride in being closed off, static, and ultimately dead to the transformative, messy flow of life. Muhammad Ali captured this perfectly. The magnet of national identity was demanding he fight a foreign enemy, but he rejected it, and he pointed out that the real sickness wasn't overseas. The real sickness was the racism deep within his own group.
So, if this pride and purity is a self-destructive dead end, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is to embrace the very thing we've been taught to fear.
It really requires a fundamental shift in how we see everything. Instead of seeing tradition as a static rock, we see it as a flowing river. Instead of identity being a fixed thing to be guarded, it becomes a dynamic process. We stop fearing contamination, and we start seeing that real strength comes from combination.
And this is the heart of it all. The goal isn't to be a perfectly sealed, pure container. The goal is to recognize that you are part of the flow of life itself, a flow that ignores all the artificial boundaries we try to create.
So what's the ultimate takeaway here? Any ideology that's based on purity is fighting a losing battle against reality itself. Our bodies are ecosystems. Our evolution absolutely depends on combination. True strength isn't in isolation, it's in embracing our messy, beautiful, interconnected nature.
And this leaves us with a final question for you to think about. Recognizing the fiction of purity gives us a choice. We can align with a magnet that demands conformity, or we can embrace the authentic, dynamic, and beautifully contaminated reality of who we truly are.